Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jared Talbot from Bowman Underground Metal Movement, and I'm here with our band of the month for the month of December, 70times7.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on? What's up?
I'm Greg. I'm lead singer and play bass guitar.
I'm Blaine, rhythm guitars, backup vocals.
I'm Jacob, and I play the face melters.
I'm Jeff, and I play drums.
I don't know what a face melter is. I don't know. I don't listen to metal.
You just lay people down and just hold like a light over their face until it starts melting.
Brutal.
Easy sacrifice.
All right, basically, like I said before we even started this thing, I'm just going to ask y'all some questions, just like we're hanging out, chilling, talking about music, and you know, any input you want to put in between the questions I'm asking, feel free, and we'll just shoot the breeze like we're talking music, like we would any other time. Okay? First of all, now I'm assuming your name came from, and I am a Bible person. I love Scripture, and I'm assuming it came from Matthew 18:22.
Yes.
Now, 70times7, like I said, came from that Scripture. But what drove y'all to use that particular Scripture for your band?
Okay, well, me and Jacob were doing a mission trip several years ago, and halfway point to our destination, we stayed at a church, and the next morning they invited us to attend their service. And I had already been going back and forth between that name and another name. Right now, I don't know for the life of me what that was, but the preacher got up and started, his sermon was basically over that scripture, and it was just kind of like a sign that that's kind of what we needed to kind of go with. But ultimately, it has a deeper meaning to me personally. Ultimately, 70times7 is about forgiveness, and I lost my father back in '99 to a heart attack, and my life kind of took a toil, and I just had a lot of issues, and I had to learn a lot about forgiveness for myself, but for others that I affected, and so that's kind of my personal take. I think they may have their own little interpretation as well. That's basically the whole idea of 70times7 is to spread the love of God and just be about learning about forgiveness.
Exactly.
We all face those issues from time to time, whether it be addiction or just personal turmoil.
Awesome. Who's the main founder of the group?
Me and Blaine and Jacob me and him went to high school together, and then Jacob was in our youth group, and that's kind of our foundation.
Then y'all picked up.
We picked up Greg, yes, this dude right over here.
I replaced actually Derek Eggman, who's now in it.
Oh, really?
He was the original lead singer of 70times7.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I replaced him. He moved to Jasper for a while, and so he wasn't able to make practices. I joined up as bass player, and he left, and so we had to find another singer, and we had several come in and try out, and
I had a couple promises, but
then it just kind of fell through, and so I was one basically singing in practice. We could practice.
So why not just keep doing
We
it?
just kept it up. Just kept it as 4-piece.
How long have y'all been together?
6 years, 5 years, 5 or 6 years.
And I know y'all just put out an album. What, about 6 months ago? 7, 8 months ago? It was in the spring.
It was in the spring, right? Yes, that's about right.
Was that y'all's first one, or did
That's
y'all
our
have
first
one?
Oh.
Our release was in February, by the way.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
So that's winter.
almost a year.
It has been. Golly. And it feels like it was.
The time
just like,
flies, right?
It feels like it was like.
We did have
3 months
like a
ago.
little 4-song demo that we put out before. It had 3 of the songs that were going to be on the album, and another one that was supposed to be on the album, but the drums didn't sound right when we got back here. We recorded the drums in the studio, and we're recording the rest of the instruments here, and so we just ended up we'll save it for the next one and just scratched it.
So where can people get y'all's album? Just at shows, or do y'all?
We have it online at cdbaby.com, iTunes, which, you know, they spread the music out to all these other, Spotify and all these other places. Amazon, I think, is another location you can get it. And, of course, you can get it at our shows.
What's the name of the album?
Truth in the Aftermath.
There you go. Truth in the Aftermath. They got it on Amazon, CD Baby, iTunes, Spotify. It's all over the place. So just go ahead and Google it up, and you can find their stuff there.
Sure can.
Take me into your writing process, like when y'all do composition.
Formula. Right here.
It just depends on the song. Sometimes one of us will be at home and then we'll bring something from home, like a riff or maybe even a whole song, and then just show it to the rest of the guys, and then we all just play with it, and then Greg will come up with the lyrics. Or sometimes we'll just be sitting. Actually, one time we were playing a show here in this gym, and then I was just playing around with some kind of riff that just popped into my head, and then Jeff started playing along with it, and then our next practice we made a song out of it. So it's just like we'll either come here, jam a little bit, and just make a song then, or just
something as cool as an improvisation.
Yeah, right.
I do very little of writing lyrics and then bringing it and then it's trying to write music. That hardly ever happens because then it's kind of like you're forcing it.
I'm with you.
So what we like to do, or I like to do personally most of the time, most of our songs have been written this way, is we'll get the music down and then we'll make like a little scratch recording, and I'll take it home, listen to it, and see what I hear. You know, because you can't always get it right there in the room, and sometimes it just comes to me when, you know, driving or taking a shower or whatever, you know, and I need to be able to write it down or listen to it and make sure it fits and that kind of thing.
I wish that you could tell that to some of my guys. I get ragged so much for not having lyrics right then and there, and they just don't understand that an artist has to be an artist.
We've actually took on a couple of tools that have assisted with us. Like we've used a personal handheld recorder and uploaded those tracks to Dropbox, and like each of us have access to one joint Dropbox account, and then he'll take it, and that's how he helps him learn the riffs and learn and write the lyrics.
That works. And you see that a lot, especially with some of these national groups. You know, like I talked about when we did our interview with ETP, some of Pantera's later stuff, they were recorded in separate states. You know,
wow.
They were written in separate states.
Right.
You know, the music for, I want to say it was Southern. What was it? Southern Tranquil?
Yep.
Was it? Yeah, it was Southern Tranquil. They wrote all the music in Dallas and recorded it, and then Phil wrote all his vocal patterns and lyrics and stuff in New Orleans and recorded everything in New Orleans because they weren't on speaking terms at the time. I mean, the band was completely separate, writing an album together, which to me is just so odd because I don't know about y'all, but me and my guys, we feed on each other.
Exactly.
You know, and it's so hard for me to understand where you can get inspiration on your own from something that somebody else did.
Right.
You know, and I guess, you know, I say that, but they've been playing together for so long that, you know, maybe they were just on that sixth level.
Right. And that's how the band Periphery was like that. That's how they formed. They were all out of state and they submitted their tracks.
See, there's so many. There's a group that I really like called Conducting from the Grave, and their vocalist started a side project group, and he was looking for internet musicians, not like making a super group with other bands.
Right.
He was like, hey, play this track and email it to me.
Right.
And he literally has an internet band. They
awesome.
wrote all their stuff over the internet with each other. They don't tour, they don't play together, they don't practice together. It was a really neat concept for something different, you know.
Right.
I've never seen anybody do anything like
This
that.
just shows the cutting edge of technology with how it's helping out local bands and things of that nature.
As far as metal goes, bands or individuals, who inspires you? And I mean,
we need to have individual answers, right?
That's what individually, not 70 times 7, but y'all as individuals.
Right now, one of my favorite bands right now is Silosis.
I saw them last night.
I wish I could have, but I had to sell my ticket after I bought it because I had 2 finals last night.
I didn't have any finals and I got to see them. They were amazing.
I see what you did there. That was awesome.
Go ahead and roll that in for a minute. They were outstanding.
But them and Death. Death has always been a favorite band of mine, and
They're
always
don't
will be.
our style of music. Anybody else?
I was in the 90s grunge area was mine. I was Helmet, big time Helmet, Clutch, but I mean I also listened to like God Lives Underwater and a few other bands like that. 311 is another one of my bands. I get ripped on a lot because I admit that I like 311 and I don't care.
And dude, don't even. We have this thing when we play somewhere, or not necessarily even playing, when we go to support some of these bands or whatever, the guys in our group, we have what we call the guilty pleasure group.
Oh, right.
And we always ask the other bands so we can make fun of them relentlessly for liking stuff like Lady Gaga or whatever. And I guess I don't consider 311 a guilty pleasure. Somebody may somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, but Matt's guilty pleasure is Nickelback.
Oh,
and we rag him. We rag him about it so hard. Our bassist, his is Fall Out Boy, and he likes Coheed and Cambria. So we give him all kinds of problems with that, and mine's Maroon 5.
Maroon 5. We heard it. He said it.
They're amazing. You know, no. Go ahead. I didn't know if anybody else had an inspiration or not.
I listen to a lot of Ultra Bridge music.
Yeah. Their singer's a beast.
He's awesome.
That dude's got a set of
They're
pipes
all
on.
talented.
In his solo project, I don't know if it was.
I really liked it, and
It's awesome.
I'm not a Creed person,
Yeah.
and I was kind of skeptical to listen to it. And when I listened to it, I was really impressed.
Right.
I really was, because you know, I think a lot of times in some of these projects that different musicians are in, they may be restrained
Right.
or held back from what they're actually capable of for the writing process for that particular project.
Yeah.
And I think that was really the case with Mark Tremonti. With Creed, he was writing stuff that I was like, man, that's simple. What do you do? Come on. And then I heard him with his solo stuff with Tremonti, and I was like, wow, man, he really stepped his game up. And his vocals were good too. That really impressed me too.
I think Scott Stapp had a lot of anchor on March 9th.
Oh yeah.
Let him grow, let him do his thing.
I would say, same as Jeff, coming up in the grunge area, a lot of Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, and stuff like that. Rage Against the Machine. But what got me introduced really to like just straight up listening to metal, it was actually a Christian metal band. A buddy of mine named Aaron Rico said, man, you gotta check these guys out. And he gave me a cassette, I remember those things, and of Tourniquet.
Oh,
It was a Tourniquet album called Vanishing Lessons, and I must have wore that cassette out. And I was just hooked after that. And actually in 2002, I got to go see them at Cornerstone, Illinois. And I was taking pictures for a paper I was working for at the time, put together a picture page. And so I got to having like a press pass, and I got to go behind where they were playing, while they were playing. And I got to watch Ted Kirkpatrick, playing left-handed on drums, and the way he plays, and just my jaw was on the ground, and watching him play, and it's just like, wow, this is awesome, And just to get to see your heroes up close like that. But yeah, that's what got me turned on to metal.
It's so funny because that you mentioned Tourniquet, because the first time I've seen y'all 3 times, I think.
Oh, really?
I know twice. I'm trying to. I've seen you twice that I can recall, but I think it was 3. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I remember turning to Matt one time that he and I were there together, and Tourniquet was one of the bands that I was like, man, they remind me of Tourniquet, and that one came up, and then Megadeth. Like the style of metal, because the style that we play is, more modern, a lot of blast beats and, extreme drop tunings and stuff like that. And y'all's style was, you could tell it had some modern twist to it, but it had that good traditional metal sound like Megadeth. And that
That means a lot.
Sacred Right too. I like
Sacred Right,
yeah.
White Cross.
Oh yeah.
I love White Cross.
There's
I got to see them.
White Cross
Make
and
me
Deliverance
sick.
was 2 of my biggest bands.
And he's
Rex
like-
Carroll and them had rebanded them, man. It was awesome. I got to see them. They opened for Tourniquet that night. It was sweet. But funny you mentioned Megadeth. Dave Mustaine is probably one of the ones I emulate as one of as who I try to look at as a great lyricist of writing.
You've actually mimicked him in the practice room pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
He does the dual. Dr.
I
Jekyll,
would
Mr.
sing
Hyde.
with the grin.
Yeah, he's
just
done it
to-
before.
All you gotta do is grit your teeth together and sing, and you sound just like
Just
David.
like,
So,
of course, you've also sounded like a few others.
who else was it? Snoop Dogg? We did one
That
more.
was Snoop
I
Dogg.
ripped off Snoop Dogg.
I'd have paid to see your white self.
Oh, it was nice.
I forget what song it was, but yeah.
I think it's some country.
I've never done it in a show. Oh, you practice, man.
You ought to. This particular project, is this just something y'all do as a hobby and for the love of music? Or if given the opportunity, would y'all want to do this for a living? Like, actually be a signed group?
I think there's a mixture of feelings on that. Right now, we're kind of in God's time and on his project.
Right.
If that's what He wants to do, and that's the calling that we'll be faced with, then I know me personally, it's gonna take being the fact that I'm a family person and I have a lot of responsibilities on that aspect. That's good. What? Oh, thank you. Anyways, I think if that's where it takes us, I'm on board.
Right. And I think that was really more what I was hitting at.
Right.
You know, if it was even in the cards for you mentally.
If it was my choice, we'd be out on the road right now.
Yeah. Let's see.
My thing is, you know, starting off when I was younger, of course, everybody, when they're, you know, in early 20s or in their teenage years, you know, they're starting a band, they're all like, yeah, we're going to make it, you know, and then you see so many bands that just fall apart when they don't.
Right.
And that's one thing, you know, I didn't want to focus on trying to make it, because then when you don't, you're just kind of like, ah, screw it, and you quit. And that's not what we want to do. I mean, I've got a good job now. And I know these guys do. So I mean, it would, you know, we're pretty, you know, we're.
It's a mixture of both, a little bit of hobby.
It's
and,
a hobby, but
and professionalism in our minds. You know.
We love music, so
we look for ways. You know, I'm always trying to find ways to make things look more, you know, professional. I watch different, all different kinds of concerts. I watch, like the other night, I watched an old, well, not an old one, but from 2002, I think, Fleetwood Mac concert. Just to watch how different people act on stage, be professional when you're up there, get some pointers, you know, try to make yourself look more professional. You know,
It's like game film.
you know, yeah, exactly. And it's because the whole thing is, that was one bad thing about the grunge era. Even though the music I thought was great, some of the bands would just, you know, stand still and not do anything, and kind of, you might as well just listen to it on the radio.
And that's one
You
thing
know, and
I've,
so it's
I've
kinda-
always said, you know, in reference to my group or anybody that was asking me my opinion. I've been doing this for a long time, and you know, I always went to that. You know, when they're asking about stage presence, and I'm like, man, you know, anybody can just put your CD and listen to it at the house and lay in their boxers,
Right,
and not have
right.
to get off the couch.
Yeah.
You know, they come to see you visually. Yes, they're wanting to hear you because it's music, but
They want to see what
have
you like.
eyes.
Right.
They want to see you do something.
Like, did y'all go see Tool back?
I've seen Tool 4 times.
Okay, but did you see when they came to
The Montaigne?
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, like they just stood there.
Yeah, he's
He had his back to us.
old
the
Maynard's
whole
a
time.
strange cat. Strange
He
cat,
is,
man.
he is.
Now Meshuggah was on before them, and
Yes.
they blasted brains. I
You
love
got to see
Meshuggah,
Meshuggah?
dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
They opened up for Tool.
There was
yeah,
a-
Meshuggah and Tool.
Yeah,
That's a
that's-
mixture, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a band from Dallas at my old band site. We got to play at a festival that they played at, and they came on. They were called Rock of the Ages, and it was at Ford Park, and they came on the main stage. I mean, they came out there, and I mean, it was just like they took over the stage, and I was like, wow, these guys are really good. Where are they from? So I said, oh, they're from Dallas. And I'm like, oh, where all have they been? They were like, we've been, you know, mostly just around Dallas. I thought they were a professional band. You know, I thought they did it for a living. They didn't, but you never would know it from looking at it. I mean, they were that, and that's the kind of professionalism I want to, you know,
I think we all-
emulate and go toward.
Right.
If it ever gets to the point where you can do that full time, great. It'd be great.
Well, you're ready
you know?
then.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
They're not having to train you to be a business person.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't see it, you know, people that aren't musicians or aren't gigging musicians, they don't realize how much hard work goes into being an on-stage band.
Right.
You know, they just see the glory of being in a band and, you know, you get to be in a band and you do this and that and roadies and no, we are not that. It's about 85% hard work and you get to reap the benefits for 45 minutes for, you know, 4 times a month if you're lucky.
Well, you've seen those stairs over there. When
Yeah.
we're done, when we're done with the show, we got to haul
Lug it all
everything
up and down.
up those
That's a trek,
stairs,
too.
and that's
It
a.
is. Well, we used to have all of our gear in the other room, but now I mean like all of our speakers and everything. So,
Luckily, it's in his house.
so we
So he just gets to
changed
go home
that.
and do that.
That's right, it's a whole lot easier.
Other than the metal genre, and I don't necessarily mean inspirational purposes, but just listening purposes, what other genres of music do you like? Just to jam in the car.
I listen to Pixies on the way over.
Get down. Yes.
So I mean, it just depends on the nature of how I feel. So.
I like. I listen to some. I like older stuff, like in jazz.
I
I'm
love jazz.
big.
Yeah.
Vince Guaraldi, one who did all the Peanut Special stuff.
Oh yeah.
Al Hurt is trumpeting, just phenomenal. Herb Albert and Tijuana Brass. Stuff I grew up on that stuff, you know. And it's just every now and then I still pop that stuff in. And I like listening to some of the, you know, being, you know, from Irish American, a lot of the Celtic and New Age
Oh,
stuff.
I love
Love that kind of
Titanic.
stuff too. So, you know, I like to broaden my range and listen to a lot. The only thing that I really can't seem to stand is, which is, you know, probably because it's on Sunday mornings when you accidentally turn on 560, hear news and you hear Cajun. I can't stand Cajun.
Really?
That's about it.
Why?
Cajun music, man. It's
Oh,
like,
no.
that's the only thing. I really
Don't
can't.
go see 70 times 7.
He said it. It was just
Don't go. Guilty by association.
I've listened to.
No.
I've listened to. I've liked watching them. I like.
You're a communist.
I see a Cajun band. I've watched the Cajun band, you know, and watched them play, but
Not even
just
there
to
it
sit and listen to it, man, I can't get into it. I don't know what.
This is where the editing is going to come in.
No editing. I'm leaving
But I mean,
this.
I tried. I really did.
I hope that somebody shows up at his show with an accordion.
I love Cajun
I'm gonna jitterbug my butt off. I ain't even playing.
I'm gonna call
I
him
love
tomorrow.
Cajun, so I love the food, y'all.
He hates them all. I'm looking for you. He whispered it in my ear. Why are you whispering in my ear? Oh man, you're lying.
Huh? Okay, yeah, for
See,
Yeah, I was just picking.
how about it, Blaine? What do you like? Come on, man.
say Cajun music.
Yeah,
Help him, man.
that's all I
Redeem
listen
us.
to. No, I listen to, you know, a whole broad range of stuff, blues and jazz, of course metal. I was raised on country music, and I listened to that up until I was probably 8th or 9th grade before I was ever introduced to, you know, rock and metal, you know, which of course was like Metallica and AC/DC at those times. So, you know, that's pretty much it.
Well, I'm not listening to metal. I've been listening to jazz lately and a lot of classical music.
Who do you like classical wise?
I don't know. I just have a radio station that I found, and they just play a bunch of random stuff. But
I'm like
Vivaldi, Antonio
Antonio
Vivaldi.
Vivaldi.
That dude shreds on the violin.
He's one of my favorites. Him, Piccola, Tchaikovsky.
I was going to say Tchaikovsky.
I love Tchaikovsky. His tones are very bright, but not so sissy-fied as Mozart. I'm not a big Mozart fan. I love Bach.
Yeah.
I'm a huge classical fan. They're to me, they are the finesse metalheads.
Yeah.
To me, because they're doing the same things we're doing. They're playing fast. They're
Yeah.
doing breakdowns. I mean, they're doing the same things we're doing. They're just doing it with a cello and a violin.
Yeah.
And it's just so, for lack of a more brutal word, it's beautiful music.
Yeah.
I love it. So, wrapping it up, what's on the bill for 70 times 7? What do y'all got coming up, show-wise, and just in the future in general?
Well, we got the Toys for Tots benefit
On the 15th, right?
on the 15th, and we did something over the summer. We called Solid Rock Summer, and we raised food donations for Southeast Texas Food Bank. And so we wanted to do something again toward the end of the year, being Christmas. We wanted to help out a charity that helps out those in need, less fortunate.
Right.
So I called up Toys for Tots, local chapter here in Orange, and they got on board and said, yeah, it's great. So they're all, supporting it, put their name on it, I guess you might say. But as far as to next year, I mean, we're hoping to get out more into like the Houston and Dallas areas, play maybe some more places in Louisiana, kind of branch out a little more. But mostly around the state. I'd like to branch out a little more around the state if we can. But farther, I mean, let's see, where's the furthest we've gone about?
Well,
what was the last place? Liberty? We played up in Liberty,
Yeah,
which we're probably going to play there again. Where at?
Humble.
Humble. Yeah, that's right, Humble. We've been in Humble. So, I mean, it's that Houston area, but I'd like to get up around the Dallas area. I don't know if you've heard of Nevermind the Darkness out of Dallas. They came down and played a show with Forever Falls one time, and I've been talking with them.
It sounds so familiar.
And we tried to get a show with them this year, but it just never could work out. To go up there and kind of open for them, and maybe they could come down and kind of trade off, kind of
Do a show swap.
Right.
Yeah, do a show swap. And we tried that, but it just didn't work out this year. But hopefully it will next year.
The show on the 15th is going to probably hopefully open up the doors for like San Antonio area because we've got a
Profit
band,
within.
Profit Within's from San Antonio, so we're hoping we'll bond and maybe do an exchange of some shows.
What's the price of admission for that show? Just a
And
free
this-
toy or?
It's an unopened toy or $5 if you don't have a toy. And either one will go to Toys for Tots. So.
Outside of that, we're about 6 songs deep into the next album. We haven't really talked about when we're going to start lining up to record that, but that's going to be coming up hopefully soon. We'll see.
All right.
6 with lyrics, and actually we got 2 that
Two
working on
without.
music that don't have lyrics yet. So.
Well, let's hope one of them's a Cajun.
It'll have an
Put some Cajun
accordion
beat
or
into it.
A little scratch.
Some spoons and
Get me
spins.
some spins or a washboard.
Washboard.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
70 times 7. Make sure you check them out. They're going to be at King's on 9th Avenue in Port Arthur. December 15th, it's Toys for Tots benefit. So, like they said, it's a $5 cover or an unopened toy, and it goes to kids that are less fortunate and maybe they may not have a Christmas this year. So make sure you go check them out. 70 times 7. That's Christian metal. It's as good as it gets. I'm Jared from BUM. Y'all be careful.
Thank you.
See ya.